Reactive training systems.
And I think, on balance, I mean, I think I'm in your camp as well. And I think the longer that you do this, the more you're able to reflect, obviously, and look back and say, wow, I have a lot of, I had a lot of opportunities and a lot of times when I was, the national champion, or, hey, placing second, wasn't as, like you even said yourself, you've never been so happy this, 2 weeks ago about a second place. And that in itself just speaks volumes. And it's, you did the best that you could on that day, considering the circumstances, and you overcame some back pain and some different, physical challenges. And it's just really freaking cool that you had the meet that you had and were able to engineer a second place there. And it's just, which is awesome, because I know there was a time in your career when you looked at second place and you're like, man, this really sucks. You know what I mean? And it's like, I think a good example, when looking at a different sport, people talk about the greatest golfer of all time. And a lot of, it's this argument between kind of Jack Nicklaus and Tiger Woods. And so, it's terms of greatness. And so when you look at Jack Nicklaus's career in terms of majors, but also look at how many times he came in second, it's astounding at how many times he came in second place. And it's like, just to think, I know golf is completely different than powerlifting. And in a round of golf, you've got between 60 and 80 opportunities, depending on how good of a golfer you are, roughly. And in powerlifting, you only have 9. But it literally can come down to just a shot here or there, or a lift here or there. And it's like, man, second place ain't so bad. And it's like, I don't know. It's just,
yeah, no, I'm with you. So, and it's a good bumper sticker to, first or nothing. If you ain't first, you're last. Well, I mean, the reality is just a little bit different than that. Bryce Lewis sent me a podcast quite a few years ago now. It was talking about, it was a psychological investigation on second place finishes at the Olympics. It turns out that silver medalists are the least satisfied with their performance. Obviously, gold medalists are the most, and bronze medalists are pretty happy too. But silver medalists are usually the salty ones. And man, that resonated with me so much. And I've told lifters about this endlessly. They're probably sick of me saying it, but I've got the pictures and looking grumpy on second place podium, but a little bit of perspective goes a long way on that. It's like, next year you might not be here at all. You can't predict that, and you can't control it to a greater extent than we care to admit sometimes. So, Susie really helped me frame like my own competition results in a productive way. I think, focusing on my own performance. Did I lift well or not? And that's the sort of thing that I can control. And, another person that we talk to about stuff like this quite a bit is Newton Chang. And he talks about, he wants to represent himself and his training well. And that's his primary goal for a competition. And he may have other intentions, may intend to, squat a PR or something like that. But the goal is to lift to your ability, and really maximize your ability on the day and control your controllables, basically. And, if you do that, then that's worth being satisfied about. And there may be other things that are, that require attention that you may want to fix or change or something like that later, but it's not worth beating yourself up over. Like I've got an athlete now actually who recently had a competition, didn't go the way he wanted it to, and it's been some weeks since then, and still like he's feeling like he didn't measure up. And there's a difference between evaluating your training, evaluating your attempt selection, evaluating your approach, and internalizing it and feeling like your personal shortcomings or your personal sort of value either wasn't enough or wasn't the thing that measured up. There's a big difference in those things, and it'll affect your satisfaction after the competition's over, which is, that's the thing that's worth having, but it'll also impact your future performances if that's the only thing that you care about.
Right. Yeah. And I think there's a beauty in, like what you said, Mike, in representing yourself well and competing to the best of your ability. And if you have literally risen you've given the most of yourself on that day, and you've squeezed as much out of that, lemon as possible, so to speak. It's like, man, what can you be upset about? Like, it's like, I got the most of what I could give today under these set of circumstances, whatever they might be, advantageous or disadvantageous. And it's like, hey, that's the total that I put out there. And I think there's great satisfaction in knowing, wow, I did the very best that I could do, Yeah. And if that meant I came in fifth, then I'm fifth. And if I came in first, then I'm first,
Right.
So,
right. That's a hard attitude to adopt. Like, I don't want to diminish that aspect of it. Like, I've known this in my head for a while, and it's frankly tough to fully believe the thing that you want to believe in this case. But it's a thing that's worth working at.
I think it comes with age and experience, which is to say that I'm just old. So.
Hey, let me tell you something that I know about you. Your lifting is important to you. It's probably one of your biggest priorities. And for people like us, nothing compares to the feeling that you get when you set a new PR. That feeling of being the best that you've ever been, of doing something that you've never done before. This is what we're all after, and it's also what RTS specializes in. Getting you the absolute best program possible so that you can hit new PRs and reach your goals. We call it radically individualized training, and we're really good at it. Whether we need to account for busy schedules or equipment limitations, or precisely turn the dials and get the details of the program just right, we have the tools and the experience to guide your lifting to the next level. To us, coaching is all about leadership, relationship, and creative problem solving. A coach should be poised to help you make tough decisions about training and competing so that you can continually grow in your development. And of course, a coach should be a first-rate problem solver, especially when it comes to your training, technique, and strategy. Now, all this has to be built off of a really strong, professional coaching relationship that emphasizes trust and respect. Additionally, RTS coaches are not on an island. We have a strong network of professionals to reach out to, so if you find yourself in need of some specific expertise, say in the realm of nutrition or injury management or sports psychology, there's a deep expertise available there too. For more information, go to store.reactivetrainingsystems.com and click on coaching. That's store.reactivetrainingsystems.com, then click on coaching. Hope to see you on the team soon.